back to my channel. I have another tag video for you guys, and I was tagged by Nicole. Hi Nicole, sorry it took you so long to do this video, and this is the my first time tag. So the first question, do you still talk to your first love? No, I do not, but it's not because how do I explain this? My first love, we never had a relationship, so I don't know if that, would you consider that your first love? I consider my first love the person that I really wanted to give my heart to, and it was that person, but we never crossed that line. So, you know, we just don't talk because we don't keep in touch is what I'm trying to say. So no, I don't talk to my first love. What was your first job? Now, do you mean first job that I got paid, or the first time that I did something was like working? So we're gonna something that's considered as a job but I didn't get paid for, was working at my aunt's clothing store. She had a clothing store when I was a kid, so it was like in the summertime I would go and help her out, but I didn't get paid for it, but I liked doing it because I got to hang out with my cousin, who was like my best friend back then. We don't live next to each other anymore, but we're still very close. And so that was my first non-paying job. But my first job that I ever got paid was it working at West Coast Video, or was it working at Supercuts? Because I worked at both of them at the same time, so I'm gonna say my first job that I got paid was when I worked at Supercuts and when I worked at West Coast Video. Yes, I worked at Supercuts and I loved it. I really missed doing hair. Who was the first person you text today? The first person I text today easily was my mom. She's the first person I text every day, and I always say "so mama," which is something that Spanish people do, is like you give your blessing to your mother. So she's the first person I text every day. Who was the first person you thought of this morning? The first person I think of every morning is my son, because he's the first person I see. I think about him every day, every morning. He's the first person I always think about. Who was your first grade teacher? Oh my God, my first grade teacher. I used to go to school in New York, so I honestly can't tell you her name. I remember what she looks like. I just do not remember her name. So I know I went to PS 87 in New York, and that's all I can remember, but I don't remember my teacher's name. Sorry. Where did you go on your first ride on an airplane? First place I went to was the Dominican Republic the first time I rode a plane. I actually didn't go to the Dominican Republic until I was 13 years old, which was very unfair to me because my twin sister, my younger sister, used to go like every summer, and I just thought it was so unfair that I could never go with them. So the first time I got to go, I was 13 years old, so it was to the Dominican Republic. Who was your first best friend, and do you still talk? Well, my first best friend was in New York, and her name is Haji. And no, we don't still talk because I moved away from New York and we lost contact. But she was my girl. She was my best friend, my partner in crime. And if I could get in touch with her, I would. But I honestly don't even know her last name. So yeah, we don't talk because of that. Where was your first sleepover? My first sleepover, my mom didn't really let us sleep over anyone's home. She was really protective about that. But the first sleepover that I can remember was at my aunt's house, the one that I used to help out during the summertime. Because like I mentioned, me and her daughter are very close, so I used to always like to sleep over her house. But that was the first sleepover I ever had. Who was the first person you talked to today? The first person I talked to today was my son Gabriel. If you mean like on the phone, was my mom. So Gabriel was the first one I talked to this morning, and on the telephone was my mom. What's my place? Whose wedding were you in the first time? Well, I can't remember who it was because honestly, from the age of 2 until I was 15 years old, I was in somebody's wedding all the time. It was always a bridesmaid, a flower girl. So I don't know who it was, but I know it was a family member. So yeah, I don't remember the person who it was, but I was 2 years old, so I'm not gonna remember that. What was the first thing you did this morning? Well, the first thing I did this morning was say good morning to my son, and then go to the bathroom and do the usual business, brush your teeth, get ready, that type of thing. What was the first concert you ever went to? First concert I ever went to was a Kiss 108 concert here in Boston, Massachusetts, and it was like a bunch of different people, and I remember I was so excited to go because I went to see Gloria Estefan, who I love when I was a kid. I love her music, and I remember being so excited because she was there, and Rod Stewart was there, and a bunch of other famous people that I cannot remember right now, but Gloria Estefan was the reason why I wanted to go to that concert. First broken bone. Knock on wood, thank you God, I have not broken a bone. Actually, no, wait, that's not true. I didn't break a bone like as a kid. That's what I'm trying to say. But I did break my bone in my wrist, this wrist right here, and I had to have surgery. But it broke because of all the steroids I was on. It made my bones very weak, and I guess I fell one day and it just, I don't know if it fractured or it broke. They didn't really clarify, but I had to have surgery. So yeah, so it was my wrist, I guess, my left wrist, a bone in my wrist, not the actual wrist. First piercing, if you mean my ears, I got my ears pierced the first time probably when I was like 4 or 3. I don't know how old I was, because I was in New York, and it was actually a lady who used to take care of us. My mom came home and she was really mad because our ears were pierced, and she didn't even tell my mom if she could do it or not. So I was about 4 or 5 years old. First foreign country you've gone to. First foreign country I ever went to, like I mentioned before, is the Dominican Republic. First movie you remember seeing. Oh my god, the first movie I remember seeing as a kid probably was either E.T. or Star Wars, because back in the day, movies didn't come out like they do now. Like literally a movie comes out every weekend. Back in the day, it was like a big extravaganza type of thing, you know, to go to the movie theaters and watch them. So it was either E.T. or Star Wars. See, I lost my place. When was your first detention? Did I ever have detention? I don't think I've ever had detention in school, because I was good in school. Well, no, actually, I don't think I had detention, but I did get in trouble when I lived in New York, because this is wrong that I did this, so don't do this, kids. I used to leave school during recess with my friend Haji, but we would go, because I would go to her house and we would eat at her house, because she lived like literally like across the street from the school we went to. So I would just go there, eat with her, and we would come back. So I didn't see anything wrong with that, because I was like, we came back to school and somebody snitched on me one time, so I did get in trouble. But I don't think I had detention, like I had to stay after school or anything like that. So I don't know if that counts as detention or not. So if that does, I guess that was my first time. And I was like 7, I think, when that happened. Who was your first roommate? Well, if you mean roommate in general, sharing a room with someone, my sister, my twin sister, we've been roommates. Get it? Roommates? Because we're twins, so we share the same room. So we have been sharing everything up until we were like, I don't know what. We shared a room until we were like 16, until I got sick in the hospital. Then we didn't share a room anymore. But yeah, so my first official roommate was my twin sister Taryn. But if we want to talk about roommates in college, my first roommate was a girl named Sandra. And yeah, she was my first roommate in college. What were the first lessons you ever took? Oh, when I lived in New York, we took lessons for just about anything. We took ballet lessons, jazz lessons. We took violin. I used to play the violin when I was much younger. And what was the other lessons that we took? It was ballet, jazz, violin, and then gymnastics. We took gymnastics when we came here to Massachusetts. Who was the first person beauty related on YouTube you ever watched? Ooh, I think the first person I ever watched here on YouTube was Marlena. Hi Marlena from Makeup Geek. Because I remember like something told me, because I wanted to get back into using makeup, because I had so many years I didn't wear makeup, and something told me, Eva, just do a search. I did a search and I saw it. That's when I discovered YouTube, and I started watching her videos. And that's how I got turned on to other people's channels, by watching Marlena from Makeup Geek TV. So she was the very first person I ever watched here on YouTube. So those are all the questions. Thank you so much for joining me. This was a fun tag. Thank you, Nicole. So I tagged each and every one of you, whether you have a channel or not, to please answer these questions. If you don't have a channel, just answer the questions, copy and paste them. They'll be in the description box, and answer them for me down below. I would love to read them. And if you have any requests, or if you want me to just check out your channel, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to do that. So thank you for joining me, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.